Hello, and welcome back to this yoga journey. A couple announcements to make. Things are opening up in Spain, so this will be my last week teaching classes during weekdays. So Wednesday will be the last normal class at the scheduled time. I plan to start teaching on weekends after this, so I'll probably be teaching either Sundays or Saturdays at the same time, probably Sundays at the same time. I will keep folks posted on social media, etc. with that. Today's class will be using props, so we'll be focusing on proper use of props in yoga. So with that, I have a foam roller here because I don't have a yoga block, so that can be kind of a good substitute for that. You could also use something like a water bottle for a block. I have a pillow, which we can use similar to a bolster, and then a towel or a blanket. I also have a meditation cushion that can be very helpful. For me, I like to use this for seated meditation. It raises the hips up and helps have the hips above the ankles so we can kind of maintain the seated posture for a little bit longer. Then I also have my jiu-jitsu belt. You can use a strap like this or a specifically designed yoga strap or even a belt around your waist or even a pillowcase. For that, I'll show how we can use those props to help with the stretch, help get into stuff. It can be really helpful, especially when we're learning new poses and stuff like that, and helping ourselves to be able to access some of these. So as always, we'll start in a seated position. You can be on a yoga mat or in a chair. But finding a comfortable position and then taking a moment to settle into the mat, settle into the present moment. Taking a few deep breaths here, into the nose, in through the nose, deep into the belly, and then relax and exhale. Wherever you've been, settling into the present moment. As you're ready, bring hands to heart center. Tucking the chin slightly. A couple rounds of breath here. Then we'll do a few rounds of Robin's breath to start warming up the shoulders and back. Inhale, hands at heart center. Exhale, hands come forward, round the spine. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, hands forward. Inhale, hands back to heart center. Breath here. Then on inhale, hands at heart center. Exhale, rounds the spine. Inhale, open. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back to center. Do a few more rounds at your own breath pace. Always begin with an inhale at hands at heart center. Exhaling forward. And follow your breath. finishing your round and then meeting with hands at heart center. Let's take a second to talk about seated posture. I have this handy little bowl here to talk about the ideal posture of the hips. So when we sit in a meditative position, we want to think about if we had a bowl filled with water. We don't want it tilting forward to spill the water out the front, and we don't want it tilting back to spill the water out the back. We want the hips to be even and level, and that's kind of why I have the bowl here to think about that. That's why we prop the hips up. Oftentimes if I go to a yoga studio and I'm new there and I don't have a meditation cushion, I'll find a towel. They usually have those towels with the yoga rugs, and I usually fold it over a few times to where it's 2 or 3 inches of padding. If I didn't have my meditation cushion, I would lay the padding down, trying to make it as even as possible. And then I like to sit back on it and then come forward, bring the ankles down, and then finding that even hips. And it can be nice to rock from side to side so that you feel a nice rounded seated position. Just a comment there. A few times today I'll be talking about the bowl of hip alignment, so keep that imagery in mind. I'm going to set this bowl to the side. So we'll come forward into a tabletop position. If you have an extra towel or anything like that, or a blanket, you can put it under your knees now. It would be really nice to help cushion the knees in any kneeling position. But we'll come forward into tabletop position. Finding a few rounds of cat-cow, bringing motion into the spine. Inhale, look towards the ceiling. Cow, exhale, round the spine into cat. Moving forwards and backwards just a little bit. Finding natural movements, warming up the spine. And then from here, we'll inhale at an even position and exhale, push back into devotional pose. Feet together, knees wide. And this is another place where if you want to use a rug or something like that, if you want to open it up wide, oftentimes my hips or my knees want to go wider than the yoga mat. So it can be nice to have a cushion so your knees can go off the mat. Find as wide of a position as you like, and then push back into devotional pose. Taking a few grounded breaths here. If you have a pillow or a bolster, you can use that under your forehead to help relax your neck into the earth. And then with arms still extended, we'll bring the palms to touch out in front over the head, and then bring the fingers up towards the ceiling. You might start to feel a little bit of a stretch in the triceps here. If you don't, you can walk your elbows forward a little bit further, and then engage the elbows as if you were to scrunch the yoga mat up, as if you were going to scrunch the yoga mat up and pull it towards you. And engaging that can help start a stretch in the triceps and the bottoms of the shoulders. Breathing here in this stretch. And inhale, hands come forward again. Walk them back under the shoulders, coming up into a tabletop position. Planting hands under shoulders, tuck the toes. Take an inhale here and exhale back into downward facing dog. and take a moment to pedal out the dog. You can move the towel or blanket out of the way. Taking time to bend one knee deeply and then the other, warming up the calves. And if you have a block or anything like that, move it to the front of your yoga mat now. Then inhale the right ankle towards the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it back up again. And then exhale, knee to nose, and step through into a crescent lunge. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll check our posture again here. Feet are in separate lanes. Hips are square towards the front of the mat. This is where you can kind of play with where your hips are at. Where is that bowl? Is it tilting forward? We're spilling water at the front. It's possible that we're leaning too far back. It's easier here for us to lean a little bit too far forward, so try to see if you can feel that your hips are even, that bowl is level, even from side to side. It's not dipping down. Right knee is generously bent. And you can inhale, arms up overhead. Take a breath here and exhale. Twist open, bring the left toes, point out towards the left side of the mat. Bending the right knee into warrior two. In warrior two, we have front heel to back arch alignment. Arms are at T. Take an inhale here and exhale. Exalt the warrior. Hands go down the back leg, right arm overhead. Then inhale forward. And this is where we'll try using a block or, like I said, a water bottle can work pretty well too. Bringing the right hand down on the inside of the front knee and find a extended side angle pose where the knee is generously bent and you're touching down on the block and you're able to support your upper body weight with this. And this could be a nice pose where you are able to concentrate on the stretch more than anything else. A lot of times when I've taught this, we can do something fun like floating our hands or something like that where it engages our core. But if we're using a block, we can really focus on that stretch now. Again, gaze can be down at the mat or even up towards the ceiling, wherever's comfortable with your neck. And inhaling, arms come back up to T. Straighten the front leg, keeping a small micro bend still in the front. Right knee, we're straightening it out, but it's not locked out. And then hands come to T. And then we'll tick-tock down again. And let's see if we can find that block again. That's a good place to explore an intermediate range, especially if you have limited range in your hamstrings and hips. Some of us can go all the way down to the mat. I personally can't get there very easily, and otherwise I have to rely a lot on core strength. And so this can be kind of a nice place to have a little bit more of a restorative pose. So allow some of the weight to be carried by the hand on the block. But again, here we're not forcing ourselves into it. You know, we can lightly push into it and imagine that the weight's distributed evenly between the legs. And then that hand is just helping us out just a little bit. We're not collapsing into the pose. On an inhale, come all the way back up, hands up to T. Bend the front leg and exhale. Windmill all the way down. Step the right foot back. Couple push-ups here if you'd like, or come all the way down to the belly. Finding a back bend of your choice. Either hands under shoulder coming up through a baby cobra, or potentially locust pose here. And then tuck toes under, push up through plank, and then back into downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels here in downward facing dog. Then inhaling the left heel up towards the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, heel up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale up. Exhale, knee to nose, and step it all the way through. Coming up on an inhale into full crescent lunge. Arms can be overhead or at heart center. But for now, let's bring our hands to the hips and let's focus on where the hips are at. Are they tilting forward or are they level? See if you can find level. Maybe even play around with it. What does it feel like to have them not be level, and try to find that proper alignment. Again, feet are in separate lanes, both squared towards the front of the mat. You can even try pulling the right hip out, see what that feels like, and then pulling it forward, squaring it. The correct posture is to have the hips squared towards the front and the bowl level. Inhaling, arms overhead. Then exhale, rotate open into warrior two. Left foot forward. We have front heel to back arch alignment here. And hips are even. We're not favoring one side or the other. Arms are at T. Naturally out over the front left hand. Take an inhale here and exhale into exalted warrior. Right hand goes down the back leg. Inhale, arms to T. And then exhale, finding the block with the left hand on the inner side of the left foot. Allowing the block to carry a little bit of the extra weight. It's not carrying too much of a load. We're not collapsing into that. Simply taking a little bit of the work off of the core of our body. And see if we can focus on the stretch now on the left side of the hamstrings and inner hip. If you feel like you want more, you can lower down further. Maybe if your block has a couple levels, you can go to a different level. And really give yourself time to experiment and play with it. Then on an inhale, come up to T again. Straightening the front leg. Again, keeping a small micro bend in the left knee. Arms are at T. And then we'll rotate down, finding that block again for triangle pose. Remembering to breathe as always. See if you can cultivate a sense of ease within effort. Then on an inhale, come back up to T. Bend the front knee and exhale, windmill down. Hands frame the front foot and step back into a plank pose. Moving any props out of the way. And then a little bit of free time here, a couple extra push-ups if you'd like. Going through the back bend of your choice. Maybe upward facing dog. Then pushing back into downward facing dog. Take a few centered breaths here. And then walk, step, or even hop up to the front of your mat, finding a forward bend with knees generously bent. Crown of the head releases towards the floor. Nod your head yes, shake it no. Allow the neck to fully release. With knees bent, reverse swan dive on an inhale all the way up. And then exhale, hands down to heart center. Take a couple breaths here in mountain pose. From here, we'll find a gentle stretch in the back of the arm. The name of that is escaping me for whatever reason right now. And so when we do that, we'll reach the left arm over towards the shoulder. Perhaps it doesn't reach all the way back, and perhaps you cannot see me that well. And then from here, I like to push with the right arm. So the left shoulder is reaching back to the tricep, by the way. And then we're pushing back, finding a stretch here on the tricep and a little bit in the shoulders. Again, with a lot of these stretches, if we engage the muscle that we're trying to stretch, we can actually help with that stretch. So I like to imagine I'm pushing the left elbow down as if I'm pulling something over my shoulder, but then I'm also equally pushing back into it with my right arm, facilitating a stretch in the left tricep. You can also use your head to help stabilize that stretch. Taking a few breaths here. Exhale, release. Switching side, bringing the right arm over as if you're going to touch your shoulder blade. It doesn't need to touch the shoulder blade. You just reach over the same side and then push with the left arm over. So then we can find a stretch in the right tricep on this side. Again, engaging with the right arm, pushing back into the right arm, equally pushing with the left to facilitate that stretch. And exhale, release. For this next pose, we'll find dancer. But we'll come into it using a strap. And so if you're finding that your belt is too short, what you can do is run the belt through the loop so that only a small part of it goes around your foot. But perhaps if your belt is long enough, what you can do is wrap it around one of your feet. So we'll start with the right foot. When it happens to be long enough, if it wasn't long enough, I would cinch it down on the foot, and then I would have that. Taking the strap into the right hand and bringing the right foot out to the side, and then maybe you need a table to help balance. Bringing the strap into both hands and then kick into that strap. When you do that, you'll find that you can actually get a stretch in the hamstring of the right foot as you kick into that. And you can actually stretch both of your triceps at the same time. Now take your time doing this. And if you need a table to help yourself get into it, maybe it's easier to do
one arm at a time. And if you're going to do that, use your right arm and your left arm to help balance on a table if you need it. But otherwise, you can start to walk your hands back towards the strap, and imagine that one day your hands can go back and reach your foot. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe someday. Slowly releasing down. Release the strap. Wiggle out the left foot, right foot. Okay, now we'll switch sides. Stepping onto the strap with the left foot, or cinching down the belt on the left foot if your strap is not long enough. Rotating it around. It might take a couple tries, so I just did one and it came up to my ankle. To me, I like to have the strap on the top of the foot and then engage the foot to kind of keep it there. And then coming into this version of dancers on this side as well. Kicking back into that left foot, engaging the left thigh, helping facilitate the stretch in the left thigh, and finding a little bit of a stretch in the triceps and shoulders as well. Remembering to breathe here. Ease within effort. And then, as you're ready and feel even, lowering it down. Take a nice breath. Twisting from one side to the other. Shaking the legs out a little bit. Shaking the arms out a little bit. From here, we'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down and step or hop back into a plank pose. And then a couple push-ups if you'd like. And back bend of your choice. And then meeting all back in downward facing dog. Okay, lowering down to knees now. We're going to play a little bit with some hip stretches. I'll show you how you can really isolate some areas using a foam roller, but you can also do this using a tennis ball or even just using the mat. In fact, sometimes the tennis ball or the foam roller can be too much. So bringing the feet off to the side, we'll find a figure 4 position. And when we do that, we'll get into a little bit of a bow position with sit bones down, bringing the left heel over the right knee, and then we'll search for it. So before we get a foam roller or anything like that, we'll go back and forth. What we want to do is we want to find the IT band on the left side and see if we can massage that out. This can be one of those stretches or massages that they say hurts so good. Like I said, side to side, forward and back. And then this is where the foam roller can really come in handy, or a tennis ball, and you can put that on your IT band. Oh, right there. For me, right there, and you can roll forward and backward on it, playing around with it. Like I said, you don't need the foam roller. The foam roller just really kind of helps isolate that position, but You can play around with this and see if you can massage that area out. Oftentimes when I have tension in my lower back, or if I've been sitting in a car for a while, or particularly after skiing or biking, and I have tension in my lower back, this is actually one of the most effective ways that I've found to alleviate that tension. So just massaging out those areas. Whew, it makes my left ear tingle when I hit the right spot. Kind of interesting. Then when you're ready, releasing both feet down, we'll plant the heels and then windshield wiper from side to side, releasing the lower back a little bit. And then switching sides, bringing the right heel over the left knee, and then searching a little bit for that same massage on this side. Roll from side to side, forward and back a little bit. If you don't own a foam roller, I highly encourage you to get one. I'll show a couple other stretches we can do with them on self-care massages. Oh, well, I find it on this side. Yeah, right there. You can get to the same spots, like I said, with the floor or a tennis ball or handball or something like that. But it's a little bit more focused if you use a foam roller. Okay, releasing that down. Again, planting the feet down. Windshield wiper side to side. And then we'll find a nice seated position again. And actually, let's come up to kneeling. Let's do this from kneeling. If you have a blanket or anything like that, you can use that. Put that down on the mat first, and then put your ankles on that if you ever feel pressure or pain in your ankles. And we'll do another stretch using the strap or the belt. This one, your strap or your belt doesn't need to be quite as long, so if your belt is a little bit shorter, that's okay. So this time we'll take the strap or the belt into the left hand. We'll drape it over our backs, kind of like the stretch we did earlier. And I kind of have to face away, so I'll explain it first and then show it. So you'll then reach up with your right hand to grab the belt, and you'll pull down with the right hand to help facilitate the stretch in the left tricep. So it'll look something like this. And then you can walk your hand up the strap a little bit. Maybe you reach, maybe your hands are able to connect, maybe they're not, that's okay. That's what the strap's for, that's that kind of intermediate phase. It can really help facilitate that stretch. And then again, you can engage the left tricep and the left shoulder to help facilitate that stretch. This is one of those poses where some days my hands can connect and some days they can't. Today they cannot. One more inhale, and then on exhale, release. Shake out the left arm. And then switching sides. Bringing the belt into the right hand. And bringing the belt across. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can bring the belt around in front of you, so it's a little bit easier to get to with your left hand. But however you can find it with your left hand in your back, and then pulling down on that to facilitate that stretch. Imagine that one day your hands might meet. Maybe they meet today, maybe they don't. Doesn't matter. Find the stretch and breathe. One more inhale and then exhale to release. Shaking out the right shoulder. Shaking out both shoulders a little bit. All right. Bringing the legs around and forward. If you have a blanket or a towel, again, I like to use this to prop up my hips just a little bit. Let's do that. So we'll prop up the hips just a little bit so that we can get that bowl even and level. Now we're going to use the strap to help facilitate a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So with a generous bend in the knee, we'll bring the strap around the right foot. The left foot is in towards the hip. And we'll slowly extend the right leg out with the strap in the hands. And then we can start to play around with this a little bit. Keeping the spine straight and the neck a natural extension of the spine. If you have a Nalgene or something like that, you can even try, oh, maybe the Nalgene is too big. You can imagine that you're gripping something underneath your neck to keep your neck a natural extension of your spine. And then allowing yourself to slowly pulse over the extended leg, following your breath, and allowing yourself to move deeper and deeper into this stretch. I like this because we don't have to reach all the way forward, which can be taxing on our spines. We don't have to bend it. We can have our hands by our sides even and pull over to really focus on the hamstring stretch or calf stretch even. If you'd like to walk towards the foot, you can do that. So we'll help facilitate that. And inhale to come up. Bringing both feet in for a second. The bottoms of the feet come together into butterfly pose. Begin with the crown of the head lifted towards the sky, then fold gently out over the ankles, finding a stretch in the inner edge of the hips. And then inhale, coming back up. Bring the palms behind you and plant them on the ground. And then lift the ankles off the ground and rub your feet together. Kind of awkward, kind of fun, building heat in your feet. Now see if you can float your hands and rub your hands and your feet at the same time. Now clap your feet and rub your hands. Now rub your feet and clap your hands. All right, good. Now clap your feet and your hands. Now do them opposing each other. Now double time. I'm used to people not laughing at my jokes, but I'm not used to people not at least grunting at them. This is fun telling jokes, doing silly things to a computer screen. Okay, switching sides. The right ankle comes in, the left knee is generously bent. Finding the strap over the ball of the left foot. Shoulders are squared over the extended left leg. And then we can start to kind of fold over at knee bent, and then you can start to extend the leg out a little bit, and then with a straight spine, allow yourself to start to pulse over the left leg, extended left leg.
You can use your breath to help guide this movement. And you can start to walk your hands down the strap. And inhale, climbing all the way back up. Good. Coming forward off of the towel, we'll come into a boat pose, but we'll have some fun time with the strap here. So we'll bring the strap over the right foot. This way. And so we'll sit back as if we're going into a boat. And then when we extend the legs long, we can either keep the left leg planted or with both legs floating, start to open up towards the right. Finding a stretch in the right leg here. And you can have that left leg down. You can kind of start to play around here. A small micro bend is recommended in the right knee when we're playing around with this. And then planting the left leg down, bringing the right leg across. See if you can find an isolated stretch in this, on the outside of the right hip. Maybe even taking a gentle twist along with it. The strap is in the left hand, and the right hand is behind the back. The stretch should be along the hamstring into the IT band area. And then releasing the leg down. Switching sides. Coming into a boat pose position first. You can have both hands on the strap. And the right leg, you can float for a little bit. And then lower it down whenever you're ready. And then playing around a little bit. Opening up towards the left. Coming towards the middle. Finding wherever the stretch feels best for you. Again, a small micro bend in the left leg or left knee is a good idea. You don't want to lock it out. And then bringing the strap across the right side of the body so the left leg is crossing up over top. Inhaling the chest up, planting the left arm down, and then taking a small twist here. Again, trying to focus on the stretch that's in the hamstring to the IT band area. And then releasing it all the way down on an exhale. Taking the strap now over both feet. Both knees bent generously to begin with. And then walking your hands down, spine is straight over the extended legs. And then you can slowly start to straighten out the knees, but again, keeping your spine straight. Neck is a natural extension of the spine. Allow yourself to sort of walk down that strap, extend the knees, until you find that optimum stretch in your hamstrings. And you can sort of play there, pulse a few times.
Take one more inhale and exhale. And then inhale all the way up, releasing the strap. Take a moment to windshield wiper out the legs, releasing the lower spine. And then we'll find here, what we're going to do is we're going to take eagle arms. And so if you remember, with eagle arms, we'll bring right arm under left first. Sometimes we can only meet here. Sometimes we're able to connect the palms. In either case, it doesn't matter. We can find we're going to try to give ourselves a massage with that along the back at the same time. So if you have a foam roller, you can use that. If you have a water bottle, you can use that. I've used Nalgene before to do this. And I encourage you to experiment. You can also use tennis balls, even dog toys. You can even do it with just the floor. So if you find eagle arms first, so we'll start in a seated position, bringing right arm under left, coming into eagle arms, then laying back down and seeing if you can twist from side to side and see if you can find the spots of tension in your shoulders where they meet the mat, or if you have, like I said, a foam roller or a tennis ball, you can play around with that. It can be very intense. So I encourage you to take your time here and see if you can find those spots. Maybe there's a few spots that are very intense for you. Remembering to breathe. As you're ready, coming back up to center, inhale, roll the shoulders out. This time bringing left arm under right, bringing palms to meet again, and then gently laying back down, connecting with the foam roller if it's there, or again a tennis ball or even the floor. And play around a little bit so you can find those spots of tension and roll them out. Slowly allow them to release. The sort of massaging motion that we can do with props can help increase blood flow to areas. And then that can help kind of heal anything that might be there. Bringing new life, new nutrients, and releasing any toxins that might be there. I find that my shoulders are very different. Inhaling up as you're ready. Releasing. I generally hold more tension in the left side of my back, and it's different for everybody. And so be aware of that. Notice that, and see if you can cultivate balance in that. And so sometimes maybe we need to work more on one side so that it can be even with the other side. From here, we'll come down through boat pose, but make sure that you have your strap nearby, as well as a block. And then we'll come down through pose. Play around in boat if you'd like. Raise one foot and then the other, or both. But eventually coming all the way down to your back. Finding your strap. We'll kind of play around a little bit like we did previously while we were sitting up. We'll take the strap around the ball of the right foot. Take the strap into the right hand. And lower the leg all the way to the right. Finding a stretch in the inner edge of the right hip. Allowing yourself to breathe deeply here. Again, you can engage the leg to help facilitate a stretch in the right hip. And then inhale the foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale over the left side. Taking the strap into the left hand, opening the right arm up to T. Taking the gaze up towards the ceiling or over towards the right. Again, this can help really facilitate an intense stretch in the hamstrings and the IT band. So remember to breathe here. Then bend the right knee deeply in towards the chest. Give it a nice squeeze. And then release it towards the ground. Switching feet, bring the strap into the left foot now. And bring it up towards the ceiling, the bottom of the left foot up towards the ceiling. And take the strap into the left hand, allowing it to float down to the earth, extended out towards the left side, finding a stretch on the inner edge of the left leg. Remembering to breathe here. Then inhale the bottom of the foot up towards the sky. Take the strap into the right hand, and then exhale over towards the right side of the body, allowing the left arm to open up, finding a stretch now in the left IT band, left hamstring area, and a slight twist. Pulling the left knee in towards the center of the body, give it a nice squeeze. And then releasing the foot along the mat. If there's any other motions you'd like to take before coming into Shavasana, I encourage you to do so. Perhaps a shoulder stand or anything like that. And then preparing for one final twist, pulling both knees in towards the body, and then exhaling over towards the right. Arms to T. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling or over towards the left. Breathing into this twist. And with core engaged on an inhale, bring the knees back up to center. And then exhale, knees fall over towards the left side. Gaze can be with the legs up towards the ceiling or over towards the right. Taking some deep breaths here. And with core engaged and on an inhale, bring the knees back up towards center. Release them long. And then if you have these really sophisticated fluffy device such as this You can put it under your head. Very interesting concept, I must admit. And find a comfortable Shavasana. Hands near the hips, palms face the ceiling. Relaxed inhales and relaxed exhales. Allow yourself to absorb the practice, surrendering your weight fully and deeply into the earth. If you prefer to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to do so. Otherwise, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Bring motion to elbows and knees. Eventually bringing knees in towards the chest and rolling over to one side in fetal position. And then coming up to a seated position. Andrew will be out of town this week, so there will be no meditation tomorrow or Thursday. Instead, him and I will begin leading an abundance, a 21-day abundance meditation challenge. So if you are looking to change your relationship with abundance, be it with money or any other sense of perceived scarcity in our lives, perhaps this could be an interesting challenge to engage in. It's not too much of a commitment. If you are interested in it, please let me know. You can contact me via Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp if you have my personal number, or you can even leave a comment in YouTube or send me a personal message, however you have to get a hold of me, and we will start the Abundance Challenge beginning this coming Saturday. I believe that would be the 10th or 9th or something like that. But if you're interested, please let me know, and I will get you the information, and you can join us with that. Otherwise, I will be back here Wednesday for the last quarantine lockdown yoga session, and then I will keep everybody informed with the new sessions as we continue forward. As always, thanks again for joining me on this yoga journey. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.